Sun, moon, stars,
It's a dark night, 2-0. So, you see the beacon of light through that black hole? Greetings, suns and moons, and of course, I have to welcome back all my stars. We're going to go ahead and get into channeling this energy. Now, first off, for some odd reason, the God wants me to elaborate just a little bit on a chapter where I thought I wanted to be a lawyer or an attorney. Interesting enough, when I enrolled into college for what they call prerequisites, I took a lot of intro classes, and in one of these intro classes, a professor started off his introduction by saying, if you're looking for justice, you're in the wrong place. After he told me that, after he told the whole class that, I decided at that point that LAW was not for me. Now, because we have here the divine director and Horus, what this is giving me is the God. Now, y'all see it for yourself. What I have over here may lead into a story that involves your life, or this is going to bring you some kind of understanding about what is currently happening to someone else. Now, because Mother was stuck next to Horus, what this is talking about is Mother Mary. Now I have some understanding why I was being told the angelic way, Immaculate Conception. Now, some may believe and some may not. However, because this story has been documented several times in what you feel is a trustworthy source, this is going to bring you some clarity in regards to whom is actually experiencing it and whom wants to. Now, here we have Cyprius Bey, which was also a paradigm shift leader once before, I'm being told. Now, because I have this deck and the words are printed here that are not my actual words, you are aware that paradigm shifts are real. However, you're not aware that other types of beings are. And because of this, the Lemurian energy is coming out. Now, in regards to this, Lady Pota, what this is talking about is Immaculate Conception. However, because the veil is here, this is speaking of something being unveiled and not necessarily clothing. Now, I also have here another stack of cards, which I'm going to turn over right before your eyes, because this is very important to my occupation. There's a moment of silence here because I'm getting a channeling. Now, for some of you, you believe that Immaculate Conception is real. However, you're not aware of whom actually experienced this. So what this is giving me is a divine intervention. Now, because Melchizedek is here in reverse, that is telling me that there's a wannabe Melchizedek here. However, their reign is not showing up. And this is because they're not an original. Now, we also have a Buddhist that believes that Buddha is the right way to go. However, in regards to Mary Magdalene, which is certainly not Mother Mary, what this is speaking of is someone feeling like they can elaborate on something that they know nothing about. Now, what I'm truly noticing as I look at these cards that are in reverse is that Brigitte energy, which is showing up currently as a witch. This particular person that claims to be Brigitte is not. However, they feel like they are reincarnate. And because of this, Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon is also showing up. However, because this is in reverse, paired next to Brigitte, this is telling me that this is a not-so-divine couple that is interested in my dialect and where I reign from. Now, because I've already explained this, this is telling me that this is someone new to this platform. However, what I know to be true is the Luminian era is not an era where most that I encounter are from. And this is because this is ET energy. However, because this is an oracle deck that came from someone else, some of you may respect it. Now, it's a sad thing to say that it has to come from someone else in order for someone to believe it. But this is something that is not new to me. This is something that I've always experienced in this body. Now, this certainly has a lot to do with a generation of Haxkana that was on my universe mother, which some of you know as Shanagayin. However, you're not aware that Shanagayin is Mother Magdalene in other places. Now, you may feel like this is far-fetched. However, because everything has been documented for all to see, all it takes is observation and the know-it-all. Now, in regards to a conscience, some of you feel like you have something down packed. However, because you're taking a test soon, you're going to realize that your memory can be wiped away swiftly. Now, what I also know to be true is this Melchizedek energy, which some believe is the God's right-hand man, is not. Now, I want to laugh while saying that, because during my research years ago, I also ran across that Melchizedek was the God's right-hand man, and it's even displayed on one of my cards. However, knowing what I know now, him being Melchizedek's right-hand man has nothing to do with him sitting beside the God, and everything to do with the Lemurians. Now, some of you are aware that certain Sinfi, which are GFA, and also Archangel Seraphims, are from different galaxies. However, you're not aware that these are energies that once walked the original Earth. Now, if you feel like you're on original Earth, I'm going to tell you right now that you are not, and I either. And this is because the era that I reigned from was distortion. Now, what I know to be true is there's several different types of doctrines that everyone that's seen it once believed was the Holy Corral. And this is because everybody believes that they have the true story. However, what we are experiencing now is an upheaval. Now, many know what is taking place because their figures are changing. However, because some celebrities are very high ranking, they're not going to address it publicly. Now, this is something that most understand. However, there's a certain group of beings that feel like because you are a celebrity or because they are, their business should be front and center, and that is not the case. Now, I'm also being guided to talk about the verse that entailed Joseph, specifically 8 through 11. Now, what you're seeing here is an insert that describes an account that Joseph had. However, this is located in the book of Genesis. However, if you're in certain places, you won't be able to locate it. What you're going to see is Jeremiah, I believe. And what that is talking about is proof for someone, because the era that I come from is also aware that Joseph is a verse in the most popular holy text. However, because it's been replaced, that is proof for this individual that they are somewhere else. Now, I'm also being guided to talk about the settings that switch daily. However, we don't pay attention to it because we feel like they're upgrades. What this is talking about is you being multidimensional. However, because you're placed around other individuals that are also multidimensional, you feel like it's just an upgrade because these individuals are still around, and that is not the case. Now, what this is getting to is confirmation for those that are hearing things and they don't want to talk about it publicly because of who they are. What I'm getting for you is people are well aware that you are an elect one. However, they believe that only men can be Archangel Seraphims, and that is not the case. Now, if you run across this reading because you're offline or you're hearing things guiding you to view me, what this is talking about is you seeing the no connection sign at the bottom of your device. Now, because the summer months are here and people are starting to go outside, some individuals feel like this is happening because it's too hot. And what it is people's income is changing. And because of this, we're having to rethink how we approach simple things like bills. Either show me what it is I need to see. Now, just like before, I'm pulling on the same type of energy that I did when I used this deck the last time. However, because when I stepped away briefly to wash my hands, the Philosopher's Stone and Dragonfly fell on the floor. And when I picked it up, the cards were reversed. This is telling me that something happened just in that instance. What I'm also getting is a particular group of beings that are not ETs or aliens, however, they want you to believe that they are, feel like every time I'm on camera, they can pick up energy surrounding what I'm pulling. And because of this, I'm always notified. Now, my members are well aware that this is happening, and some of you are as well. However, they feel like no one sees me. Now, this all plays a part in universes that are alternate, and because this is happening, they feel like people are going to say that I'm C-R-A-Z-Y, when in fact, if they research it, they're going to see that there's evidence all over the place. Now, because I'm not known for being a liar, people are not going to believe any far-fetched story that you come up with, because I'm aware that you're going to watch this video, because what you all seem to do is watch my readings and then you have epiphanies. Now, because I'm seeing the light bulb card that is surely my idea, what this is talking about is someone's light coming on in order to do a reading. Now, this happens all the time. Now, these same individuals are the ones that say, my readings flow straight through. I don't have to edit. they don't have to edit because they've already memorized the things that they need to memorize in order to play in your face. Now, the problem that many are having is because I am open with saying that I channel the underworld. However, when you see documentaries that talk about aliens and ETs and interviews with the DEVIL, y'all don't question that. Now, this is something that has been happening since time. And because it's been happening since the beginning, those that do it either are not aware that they're doing it or they're aware and they don't want to say anything. Now, because this earth energy fell on top of Melchizedek in reverse, this is talking about someone needing to get grounded, not someone getting grounded. However, this could also be an indication that a Taurus, Capricorn, and a Virgo also are aware of who's doing this. However, they're not going to say anything because they want to do it too. Share the video. Now, what I have here, if you can see it because the light surely dimmed on my end, is healing. However, because it's paired here with one enchanted evening and abracadabra with wings, which is the same energy as before, however, in a different frame. What this is getting to is someone feeling like now they're going to say that they are a shaman. All they need is a ofikio, which is this black feather here, which is not synthetic. They feel like if they get one and say that they are Choctaw Native American Indian, you all will believe them. However, when they see this video, they're going to opt to say that they're Navajo. So we're going to explain to you what Navajo is. Navajo is a tribe, and because it's associated with a certain type of Native American Indian, when you say that you are Navajo, people are going to laugh that are actually Navajo. Now we're going to get back to the reading. Now, for those that want me to elaborate on melanin, because it's a topic, it's a hot topic, as a matter of fact. Again, what this is talking about is the hue in your skin. However, the individuals that want me to talk about it do not have it, which is interesting. Now, in regards to Leviticus, what this is getting to is a moment in Genesis, which was actually a rain. Now, for those that are enthusiasts of the Bible, you may also agree that Genesis is the real portion. However, for those that study theology, they're going to go and say that the whole book is accurate. And this is because they believe that revisions are talking about them making it clear for people to understand it, when in fact, it was not for our era. And this is the reason why it's not clear. Now, for those that would like for me to elaborate more on this type of instruction, you can be on the lookout for it in the near future, because right now I'm being guided to get off. And this is because the individual that's doing a reading now wants to hurry up and finish and upload it before me. So I hope you all enjoy that reading. Deuces. What is your name? What is your name? Saragisias Ietha.